Hi BookTube. I didn't do an intro, I just hopped right into playing my game here. I just kind of want to explain that I have a new reading plan. I'm no longer doing monthly reads or doing my reading by months, even though this is coming at the end of a month and the beginning of a new month, but it's not going to be implemented like July 1st. It's going to be implemented whenever my reading allows it. So the whole idea now is that I'm just going to read 5 books at a time, and as soon as I'm done like 2 or 3 books, then I'll add another book onto that. So this version of my TBR game is me just having those books. They're going to be on my TBR, but it's not going to be a monthly TBR. I hope that makes sense. So I have 5 books I selected already. I did a currently reading video on that. And these 10 books I select in this video are going to be like the supplement. So once I finish one of those books, I'll pick from my books that I picked during the game. I'm making it sound a lot more complicated, I think, than it actually is, so let's just get right into it. Okay, here's the game setup. I'm only going to do 10 rolls. Yeah, so we'll pick our villain card first, and we got Rowena, so all the authors must be female authors that I select, so that'll be interesting. Let's go. We got Dean here as our playing person. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got a blue. The star means that I don't have to follow that villain card, but I generally do. In blue is a prop card, and the prop is the lighter, and we're going to choose from the prompt jar. So I have my jars lined up here. Let's see if I remember which one's prompts. That's ebooks, so I think, yeah, this one's prompts. My Woods one here. Pull up the little thing that says prompts, and we'll just jiggle that around. My paper doesn't jiggle, it folds. Anyway, a title starting with C. Okay, that's an easy prompt. And actually, I numbered them. That was the first prompt I came up with, apparently. Okay, so we got that. Next roll. 6. Go to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's another prop card, and the prop we get this time is Angel Blade, and we'll have to do a random number generator. And I'm just going to grab my phone, and we'll do that here and now. I don't feel like doing any fancy editing. So we'll open the phone, we'll go to random number generator, and I just updated my book list, and I have 1,070 books on my shelf. So we'll go between 1 and 1,070, generate. It's 1,003. So I'm just gonna screenshot that. And I'll go get that book after. Unless it's not by a female author, in which case the nearest book to it by a female author will be that book. That's how the rules play when I get a villain card with a rule like that. Okay, so that's 2 so far. 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's another prop card. And we have the anti-possession tattoo, so it's got to be the prettiest cover on my shelf, because the tattoo's pretty. Sure. Next roll is a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a character card. And we have Amara, so it will be a random non-fiction. 3. 1, 2, 3. Character card. And that character is Kevin. So a BIPOC author. Cool. That gives us 5. So we set that up there. Then we have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's another character card. Doesn't look like we're going to the library. Garth, this will be a reread because he's often in the TV show in different roles. So I termed that as like redoing something. Okay, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A prop card. John's journal. So I have to ask a friend because they often refer to the journal to help them. So I will ask someone to recommend me a book. And I come around to that. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Character card. We have Jody. This will be the first unread book on a shelf by a female author. So it won't be necessarily be the first book. 3 more rolls. 3. 1, 2, 3. Another character card. Ash. Free choice. Cool. So that's self-explanatory. Ash is a pretty cool dude, so he gives me a pretty cool prompt. And last roll. Come on. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I guess we're not going to the library this month. So let's pick another book. Pie. A mood read. Because pie is something you eat based on your mood. Sure. Pie. A mood read. So those are my 10 prompts or methods of choosing a book for my next 10 books. So I have my next 10 books to choose from picked out. Yeah, let's just get into it. I just put them on the shelf so that they'd fit. So I'm currently 5 reading right here, but I'll be finishing some within the next few days. So these are the choices I have. My TBR cart broke, so it's a little wobbly here. Let's just go into it. There's some comics at the end there. I don't include them in my TBR, so we won't talk about them. So for Angel Blade, a random number generator, I got the number 1003, and so I did my spreadsheet, organized it by gender so that the females were at the bottom, so they'd be closer to 1003. That's just how I did it. And I got The Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepetys, and this takes place in the Spanish Civil War. Historical fiction. It was popular. I recently bought it. Oh, short chapters. Yes. I love short chapters. So that's an option. I'm just going to bring this closer instead of reaching all the time. Then for Ask a Friend, I kind of did this in a roundabout way. This book was a gift a long time ago. Let me see. November 24th to Courtna. November 24th to Courtney, with love from Open Oma. So I'm taking that as a recommendation from my grandparents beyond the grave now. And this is Emily Dickinson collected poems. So I figured a book of poetry would be something nice to read going forward. For a BIPOC author, thank you Kevin, one of the few BIPOC characters on the show, I chose If I Had Your Face by Frances Cha. And this is about, I think it's about beauty expectations, beauty standards, that's the word, in Korea specifically. And I am fascinated with Korean culture. I watch a lot of Korean personal vlogs and cooking vlogs and stuff, so yeah, I thought that'd be a pretty good book to read. Next up, for a random nonfiction, you're gonna have to trust me that I did this all randomly. Editing me may or may not be willing to fit in the screenshots, but for random nonfiction, I just sorted my computer by genre and went through the nonfiction ones and picked a number. And that didn't land on a female author, so I just went up to the nearest one, and that was Michelle Alexander, The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness. This is talking about how the Jim Crow laws after segregation, which still, not after segregation, that were around in segregation, are still actually in place despite not being legally in place. That makes sense. For a mood read, at any point these books may change, but I just like having a selection to choose from, a smaller selection to choose from, because choosing these took me quite a while to even narrow these down. I chose Ancillary Justice. I've just been staring at it. It's like right behind me where I sit all the time. I've just been staring at it. I've been wanting to read it for a while. I listened to like the first 5 minutes of the audiobook and just changed it for whatever reason years ago. This is the science fiction. On a remote icy planet, a soldier known as Breck is drawn closer to completing her quest. Once she was the Justice of Torn, a colossal starship with an artificial intelligence linking thousands of soldiers in the service of the Ratch, the empire that conquered the galaxy. Now an act of treachery has ripped it all away, leaving her with one fragile human body, unanswered questions, and a burning desire for vengeance. So, here we go. Ancillary Justice. Okay. Next one was The Prettiest Cover on Your Shelf, and I don't know, pretty, not pretty, whatever. This is a book I was in the middle of the beginning of January. I've been wanting to finish it for a while, and to be honest, my favorite colors are purple and blue. So purple and blue. I mean, it's not an ugly cover per se. It's an interesting cover. Yeah, I'm about 218 pages in, over 500 pages. And this is book 2 in the All Souls trilogy. The first one, Discovery Witches, is, I describe it as Twilight for adults. It's about a reluctant witch falls in love with a vampire. And it still has the same themes of like reluctance to consummate the marriage or to consummate the relationship and stuff like that due to religious or whatever other reasons. It's interesting. It's Twilight for adults, basically. And the next book was Prompt Jar, and that was a book that began with the letter C. I kept the prompt in here too. Yeah, and that is, I don't include the, it's Clan of the Cave Bear by Jean, I guess because it's female, Jean M. Auel. And this is the beginning of a huge series about, it starts at the beginning of time. We are taken back to the dawn of mankind and swept up in the wonderful world of this very special heroine, Ayla. Her enthralling story is one we can all share. And she gets accepted, she gets separated from her own clan and gets accepted into this new clan, and stuff happens. So it's like a very, very early historical fiction. Next prompt was the first unread book on your shelf, and yeah, this was at the very top. New edition. I just got the whole part of this series, the first 5 books. I don't know how many books are in the series, for $10 at the thrift store, and that is Soulless by Gail Carriger, an Alexa Terabody novel. This is a historical paranormal novel of vampires, werewolves, and parasols. Yeah, it's been on TBRs before, but it's always been ebooks, and I have a problem with keeping up with ebooks. I tend to DNF them, forget about them, or whatever. And I know Vipka at One Book, One Review loves this author, so I'm excited to go into it. I don't know exactly what it is. It's got vampires, werewolves, and parasols. What else do you need to know? The next book was Garth, a reread. And so for that, I got this book that I read when I was in middle school. It feels weird. Elementary school is what we call it here in Canada. The Companion to the Voice on the Radio. I thought this was the first book in the series. I'm pretty sure this is the first book in the series. I'm going to call this the first book in the series. This is the face on the milk carton. Janie Johnson finds out that she was kidnapped, and the person that is raising her is probably the one who kidnapped her. And it's like a middle grade from the 90s or 80s. 1990. Yeah, so I'm just looking forward to reading this. I haven't read it since I was a kid. So yeah, as I was going through my rereads, this one, I was like, I think that's the one. So that might be the next one I pick up. I was excited for it. And then Ash, free choice. There's a lot of books on my shelves that I want to finish, that I've started and haven't finished. And one of those is The Waves by Virginia Woolf. And I got to page 74 of, oh look, there's a boarding pass in here. I don't know why I didn't notice that before. Passengers are allowed one piece of hand baggage only. Cal Air International. Where were they going? I don't know. It doesn't say where they were going. That's how old this thing is. Gate number 217. Seat number 19F. That's so cool. Maybe Cal is California and they were coming to Canada because that's where I bought this book. That is really cool to find. Sorry. Yeah, Virginia Woolf, The Waves. It's an experimental novel. We follow kids from their childhood into growing up, because I think by the point that I'm reading, they're on the point of graduating. And it's experimental in that we're following 6 different points of view, so the story will start with one and then get picked up by another and then picked up by another, and you get all these different perspectives, but it's all just like, it's not replaying scenes, it's just the continuation of the scene in different perspectives. It's quite cool. I just didn't feel like reading it when I picked it up, but maybe now I'll feel like reading it. We'll see. Hopefully this new reading plan works out, and thank you for watching.